Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Now that it's more peaceful around here, that the girlfriend's gone to bed, I can explain this. Okay, what I'm thinking is I seen this video on YouTube. This man's got a plant inside. You see this bottle right here? See this bottle, water bottle? You see that water bottle right there? Well, this man's got a big glass bottle. It's a little bit bigger than that on YouTube on here with a plant inside of it. That's the plant. The plant's been around at least 60 years, if not longer. It's called a self-contained ecosystem, and the plant grows inside this bottle with a cork on it. He never waters it. He never feeds it. The leaves fall off of it, and the water evaporates into the top of the bottle and falls back down on the leaves, so it keeps growing by itself. And you had to water or feed it for over 60 years at least. So say we built a huge satellite on Earth to make a big rocket ship to run it into space. It might be bigger than the space shuttles we got now, or at least the size of space shuttles, like rocket ship size space shuttles that have GPS satellites on them, an ecosystem inside of them. Because we would need thrusting ones around the sun with heat like thermostats on them that can detect how hot the sun's getting. So when the sun starts to expand way off in the future, we ain't got to worry about it right now, because we ain't got to worry about the sun expanding for a long time. But we do need to worry about it now, because we need to prepare for the future. What I'm thinking is, if we make these big ass terrariums, or satellites, ecosystem satellites, whatever you want to call them, so big old satellites with plants inside of them, with heat, they'd have to have heaters and stuff to keep the plants warm, and plant grow lights, and a battery to and a generator, and a bunch of gas to run the generator. And you know, a generator needs air, and plants put off air, so that would give the plants putting off the air would give the generator what it needs to burn the gas. So we need, I think, as long as a leap year, as long as it takes to get to a leap year. So it'd have to have enough gas to make it for at least 4 or 5 years in outer space by itself. So the plants would have to be plants that could survive. So it'd take studies to do it. So it'd take a long time before we figured out what we could send out there. But what we could do is go ahead and start doing this, so we can figure out what plants we can send into outer space. Because I know I've seen some stuff on NASA's already farming in outer space somehow, but I don't think it's the same way. It might be, but I don't think it is. I think it's a different way, but I think this way might work. I'll have to look and check and see how they're farming. I don't think they quite explain it. I did look up the satellites they have in outer space, the GPS satellites, and the GPS satellites they got out there now run off solar power. But what I'm thinking is we need more satellites out there that need this ecosystem type satellites, because they need to be further away from the sun, and the sun might not put off enough light to generate the electricity they need to send a signal for the GPS to work on them. And what I want them to be GPS for is because I think we should, like, Earth has a monument grid. I seen on YouTube also where the monuments on Earth make a perfect grid of the Earth. So if we put GPS like satellite dishes on those monuments to send in outer space to our satellites that do work near the sun, they could tell us how fast Earth's spinning and stuff. But I'm talking about the ones that go in outer space need to be the planet type ones, and other planets and moons should be not monumented, but like GPS satellites on those planets that send out a signal with satellites around them up to a certain amount out in space. So say the sun's going to expand. If we got to worry about the sun expanding so much that it's going to burn the Earth, because I don't know if our Earth's going to move away from the sun when it starts to expand way off in the future. So if it doesn't, then if we've got those satellites out there and they're monitoring, you know, the other planets and moons and stuff, I think that if we monitor them and we collect all the information and data we need to have it sent back to Earth, that the computers can know how long it took for that information to travel back to Earth, and do all the computing of how long it took it to travel back to Earth. It'd have to travel from the planet to the satellite in space, then back to Earth. So they could be computers inside the satellites and computers that go to the other satellites. And all those computers send it back to Earth, and that Earth computer take data for time to travel, time to compute, and everything, and give us an idea how fast and where in space because we can already tell from looking with satellites from way out in space, probably, where they're moving. But with GPS satellites, I don't know how far out in space we'd have to go, but to the point to where we could monitor how they're moving and stuff with the satellites and stuff, so we could figure out basically, okay, what we want to figure out is if there's, what I'm thinking, we could figure out, even though they're already even talking about making plant life on Mars. So Mars, they got trying to make plant life on Mars, where Mars will be even possibly inhabitable, if not habitable, at least, or we can farm off of it. But if we figure out a way, like way off in the future, well, I'll be dead by then, so I ain't got to worry about doing it myself. But y'all, for my kid and my kids' kids and my other families' kids and stuff, their kids way off in the future, like their kids, way off up in there, way up in there, where a lot of them have already passed away. Like I will be gone before this is finished. This, what needs to be done, what I'm thinking needs to be done anyway. But what I'm saying is maybe we could figure out how to we might want to blow up the moon or blow up another planet, but we'll need to find out when the perfect timing is to do it, because when the sun starts to expand and that satellite starts to move away from the sun, we got to know the exact timing, because we'd want to send Earth sliding out of rotation from like if we blew up the moon, I think it would send us going out away from the sun. But if we did it, and we don't want to do it till the sun starts to bend, because there ain't no point in that. We're not going to die right now, and I'm going to die before it needs to be done, so I ain't got to worry about it. Really, I just wanted it to be known. But in the future, basically, by the time the future gets here, and that leap year stuff needs to be done, so it has to be, all that has to be calculated by the computers, I think. It needs to be done. So basically, we want to know the perfect timing to do it, so we can send Earth going into a new gravitational pull with another planet. So it kind of like, you ever get behind a transfer truck and there's like a tailwind, you get right behind it and there ain't a tailwind, it like pulls you along with it, kind of saves your gas. It's called a tailwinding or something. Well, sending Earth into a new gravitational pull with another planet, and basically that's what I think needs to be done. We need to work on. I think all the planet needs to come together, like NASA people or whatever, and more NASA people need to be born and everything else. You know what I'm saying? We need to work on that, because if not, then the Earth has a possible chance of being engulfed by the sun, and that's quite a long time from now. So I wouldn't be too paranoid about it. I mean, I just think it needs to be done, and I would love it if nobody's hasn't already thought about doing this, and if I could get paid for like coming up with a terrarium idea for the satellites if they work. But I'd rather get paid before if they know if they work. I think they'll work, because I think it'd take so long before I got paid. But if I don't get paid until y'all could goddamn get a miniature one or something up in space and see if it works, then that would be fine. But I'm pretty shit all the time living off disability, so I'm hardly getting any money, and I think this is about the only idea I've figured out that's probably worth anything to the world, that could actually save the world. So I wouldn't mind a little bit of money. I'm not even asking a lot. I'm not trying to act like $1 million or something. I'm just like maybe 100,000 or 80,000 would be perfect. 100,000 would be better, but about 80,000 would be perfect because I can get the things I want. I might need just a little more than that because I might need to get a new car because my car's in the shop and needs work. But I don't know if my car will pull a Bambi camper, and that's what I'm wanting to get with is Bambi camper because I'm living in a rented trailer and it's nice here, but I'd like to get a Bambi camper. So I'm trying. I'm trying to earn some money, but I don't know. So if it is, I would gladly accept the money for possibly coming up with an idea for our future generations to save Earth, be able to farm off of it when they're possibly living on other planets by then and stuff too, and then outer space. Like we're already traveling in outer space. You know, I'm not, but I mean other people are. Unfortunately, Neil Armstrong was dead, but all those people from the destroyer, tragedy. I was 7 years old when that happened, I think. Yeah. Been a long time. Anyway, if you're rich and you think my idea's worth anything, you want to pay me, I'm willing to take some money. Thanks.